Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today we're going to be doing weekly rock news for the 11th of August 2013. So there isn't a huge amount to talk about this week, but there's enough. Just need to adjust my light. Yes, so one of the main stories that, I was really happy to hear about was that Joan Jett is coming back. Yes, she's releasing her first album in 7 years, which is going to be titled Unvarnished, and comes out October 1st. So that's very exciting. I mean, love Joan Jett. I think fantastic singer, songwriter. Some classic songs she's written, and yeah, it's nice to see her back and get the opportunity to review a new album from her. I'll probably review maybe a couple from her back catalogue, maybe building up to it, highlight, a few albums like, maybe talk about Bad Reputation, Open Arms, I'll see. But she released a song for it, Any Weather, which is the first single from the album. She performed it on some American TV show, and apparently the studio version actually features Dave Grohl on it, which is pretty damn cool. Dave Grohl on drums, obviously, and yeah, so that's cool. I mean, it's a good song. It has that sort of 80s, more slickly produced punk vibe that Joan Jett's always had. I mean, she's always been that sort of new wave-ish punk, not half as raw as, late 70s stuff, but that type of almost, stiff little fingers type thing, but I'd say a little less punkier, but I've always liked that sound. I've always found it, it's commercial rock, but with that edge to it, and that's what I like. So yeah, it's a good song. Definitely check out Any Weather. Yeah. Okay, next, something I found pretty damn amusing. I mean, it's hardly surprising in a way, but I find it a little sad, actually. So this is the news that Megadeth's Super Collider last week was actually outsold by Metallica's Black Album. Yes, which of course, the Black Album's about 22 years old, and Super Collider is only a few months old, and yet it's already being outsold. Only just, apparently last week, Super Collider sold 1,713 units, while the Black Album sold 1,737. So I found that quite funny. I mean, if you look at Super Collider's sales figures, it's been pretty disappointing compared to 13's. 13 in the first week sold about 42,000 copies and went on to sell 120,000 overall. While Super Collider only sold 29,000 in its first week and has only sold, I think, about just over 60,000 so far. So it's not looking good for Super Collider. I mean, it was panned by a lot of critics. A lot of fellow YouTube album reviewers were not happy with the album at all. Personally, I liked it. As I've said before, I don't quite see the hate behind it. And yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be being outsold by the Black Album quite yet. I mean, it's pretty new. I can't say I expected that to happen. So that's a bit sad. I think a lot of people really aren't giving Super Collider the chance they should, to be honest. Okay, so bit of Rival Sons news. Rival Sons, fantastic band, and yeah, it's only a small thing. They basically lost their bassist, Robin Everhart, something like that. He left the band. It's not because of any bad reasons. They didn't have arguments. It isn't because of health or anything. Simply because he just doesn't think touring's for him. He's just decided touring isn't his thing. He's enjoyed his time there, and he just wants to move on to other things. So, okay, fair play to him. And they're going to be looking for a replacement bassist. So, yeah, just thought I'd briefly talk about that. So, of course, some of the big news this week, if not the biggest, has, of course, over the last couple of weeks been about Lemmy. So I haven't had an opportunity to talk about this whatsoever due to my various computer issues, so talk about it a bit. So I think I talked about Lemmy having hepatoma or something like that. I can't quite remember, but it was some sort of blood thing, and also he had to put a defibrillator in his heart or something like that. So yeah, he's had some health problems over the last year, and of course, basically, he cancelled the tour, and people were wondering, is he going to be okay, And then it was confirmed he was going to be headlining Wacken Festival, big metal festival. And the set had to be cut short. Apparently there was longer breaks between the songs than usual, and the band were playing a bit slower. I seem to accommodate Lemmy playing the bass slower. and Lemmy basically just had to go off the stage and didn't come back. Yeah, which of course was quite worrying. I mean, it's Lemmy, you know, the man is meant to be indestructible, you know, like Keith Richards. But it seems mortality may be catching up to him a little too soon, which, I mean, considering the amount of drugs he's done, you know, and the fact that he has toxic blood. I remember finding it quite amusing when I read his autobiography. He was saying how he wanted to, like, get a blood transfusion, like, you know, to cleanse his blood, and the doctors told him that it would actually kill him because his body has become so acclimatized to all the strong chemicals in his blood, and the blood is literally that toxic that normal people's blood would kill him, which I did find quite funny. So no surprises having blood problems, I have to say. You know, all those drugs, certainly not good for the system. But yes, and he's been advised by doctors to retire completely, which would be interesting. And the thing is, he's actually said that he might consider it. He said, well, the way he said it says we'll have to see about that. It can be interpreted in two ways. It could be interpreted as he's actually genuinely considering it, or it could be interpreted in a slightly dismissive way, like, you know, we'll see about that. So I'm not sure. I personally don't believe he would retire. He made it very clear in his autobiography and you know, many interviews that he has no interest in doing so, and I can see him, you know, he would just die on the road or something eventually, you know, or, you know, on stage or something. I can't see Lemmy retiring. He just doesn't strike me as that type of person. I think he's always going to be playing. It's the only life he's ever known, as he said, and you know, I think he likes it. And very much looking forward to Motorhead's new album, Aftershock, coming out later this year. That's very, very exciting. The World Is Yours, their last album, in my opinion, was actually one of the best of their career. I absolutely love that album. Fantastic, fantastic album. Anyway, that's pretty much it, I have to say. I don't think I have anything else. So yeah, this has been a fairly short weekly Rock News, but oh well. So, this has been the Album Man. Thanks for watching, comment, subscribe, as usual. Long live rock and roll.